Hello, everyone.
Hello out there.
Let me turn off some of this stuff here. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to live class tonight here at Cornerstone, and hope you had a good day. Let's see who's here. Let's see who came in tonight. First ones here, the early birds, is my sissy and my brother-in-law. Hey, y'all. There's Pastor
Who is that?
Norman.
I don't know them, do I?
Pastor Norman is here. Hey, Pastor Norman.
J. Hewitt Everett Norman.
Tanita's in the house, and Diane. And then there is Dee Dee and George. Hey, y'all.
George Jr. and,
John Greason's in the
and,
house. He's in the house.
George Jr.
Joe is
and
in the
Lefty.
house. Glad to have you guys with me. This daylight saving time is really messing me up. I had 1 clock in here in the office that I never changed.
Sylvia Lefty.
And it was saying 5 o'clock when it was 6 o'clock. So
that clock ain't been changed up there.
I just changed it.
Okay.
I just changed it. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because I was looking at that and thinking it was 5 and it was 6. So anyway, we made it. We made it. Hey, Pat, I'm glad you're here, sweetheart.
Okay.
You got something in your mouth. You're popping.
It's good. It tastes good.
It tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad to have you here. It's good to have you guys with us tonight. Let's do our surrender, prayer, affirmation, meditation, whatever you want to call it. Let's do that tonight. I'm piggybacking on what we talked about on Sunday about surrender and embodying that we are. In fact, let me put that particular meditation up because I think it's very significant that we do that as well. So I'll do this one first, the surrender first, and then we'll do the embodiment, because we want you guys to come to the place where that enlightenment or awakening or new birth, whatever you've had as a spiritual phenomena in your life that's caused you to see things differently, it needs to integrate into that is the conditioned self, the little self, the human self, and that needs to be an embodiment so that you can actually walk it out. So it's not just conceptual to you, a truth that you know, but not necessarily practical to your life. So we want to continue to talk about that. I don't have any notes on it. I'm just shooting from the hip, but I do know that in our lives, the two of us, we are at that point of wanting to embody that we have seen. So let's do the surrender. And if you would, I want you to stop everything that you're doing. And if you can be still, it would be great. I know some of you may be in the car or wherever you are, but if you can take a moment to not do anything else, it would be really good. And you can say this after me, or you can simply listen, whichever you choose. Okay? So here we go. This one is for surrender. Take a deep breath in. And now release it. Let everything that you've been through today, let it all go. Take another breath in. And now release that. Exhale. Let all the tension go with it. All concerns, let that go as well. Even concerns about what we will say tonight, what will happen on this session. Let all that go. And just put everything aside for just a little while. You don't need anything right now. Nothing needs to be fixed right now. Let's just leave everything outside. Okay? And if the mind is talking, let it talk. If your feelings are stirred, let them stir. Don't try to do anything with it. Okay? And here we go. I relinquish ownership of this body. I relinquish ownership of this mind. I relinquish ownership of this life. I return to you what has always been yours. I give up the right to claim anything as my own. I surrender all self-identities. and mental belief systems. I surrender to what has happened. I surrender to what is happening. And I surrender to what will happen. I accept that I am here in this body. I now turn to the God presence within. There I find peace. There I find purpose. There I find joy. There I find fulfillment. There I find contentment. From this place of calm, I see my God self. I see a new image of myself in the world. My focus is on the God essence within me. And I follow its guidance. I am learning to trust myself. The self that I am is strong. The self that I am is courageous. The self that I am is wise. I carry this sense of knowing with me into the world. Because I trust and focus on the God self within, I am creating on the outside a world that is harmonious and beneficial to myself and others. I am having deeper relationships. I am learning how to deal with people. I am managing my money, allowing and attracting my good to manifest. I am building a career that serves others. I am taking good care of my body and everything else around me. I'm able to be in the world and enjoy myself, yet keep my commitment to the God essence within. This commitment is reflected in the light and power that I feel. I am the light of the world. And so it is. And so it is. All right.
Okay.
Welcome, Oliver. You just popped in here
Oliver
a few
J.
minutes
Johnson.
ago. Yeah. Welcome.
We are in a good position in the universe, outerverse, universe. Awareness is something we didn't hear about when we started out in this 50-some year physical journey.
No, 75 years.
Oh, 75.
Physical
Okay,
journey.
okay. I'm thinking about the brick and mortar part. We were never taught in the church, in the brick and mortar, about spirit, soul, and body until that season came about, and then there was some denominational people that Never, are they still the same as they were when we started out? They never got into that. But we move on because the grace that we are to each other, we are inside and outside, omnipotent, universal, uh, infinite, eternal. Now, you don't hear that in church. You won't unless somebody come and do it. We had a few people come in that talk that stuff, but we recognize them as being, and quote, beyond everybody, which they were not. They were just being normal. But as we begin to look into this thing about the truth of all of us, if you're going to say all of us are eternal. And you heard me say this over and over again, and some have heard it for years since they've been around us. And so what I set out to do was to train people in our ministry to function with the potentials of these innate abilities beyond even the psychic and those that have special manifestations of talents. And now that the mind, I'm open to this by the grace that, my wife asked me to go to church with her when we were dating. And I've always thought that if you go to church, that it was a holy, sanctified place. And you don't just go in there any old kind of way. But after I found out that the truth behind it, everybody was in everybody's way. Doing everybody's thing,
No different, yeah.
That's not a judgment against them, but you wake up and find out that they put their britches on just like you do.
It's broken people in the church.
Yes. Yeah, then some people didn't put the britches on from the leg up, they put it over the head. But anyway, I got away from it, and then I went back into it. And we can look back now and see the footsteps of God for each of us out here tonight, this evening. There's never been a time when God was not your life. The life that we think that we get when we get saved and all the church noggins that come along, we thought that was somebody special, and it didn't mean just one. All of us are special. Yeah. But what I wanted to do was find out the love of God to the degree that these supernatural potentials will come out. And some of the places I went, I traveled around the country, and I met some of them that was actually real, and some of them was using PR work to give off to the audience that these things were happening. Some of them was setups, and some of them still are. But what I wanted to do was to teach them, show them how to function in the wholeness of spirit abilities. When I did this, I saw personally, my wife and I saw personally what Jesus actually talked about, or what was said about him in the Bible and other books. And that was my trend, and I stayed there up to this point.
That was your vein, yes.
That was my vein. And I can tell you that some of the things that she and I went through, I would think that a lot of you guys that have not been in, it would be more than a weight of gold for you to see this and experience it, and then have to turn around and leave it for a while and make a full circle and come back to it if that is for you. If it's not for you, fine. But I'm just telling you about our own personal experiences. By me being in that area where I was not capable of understanding things by reading, I had to go straight to the boss man and God straight, and I didn't know anything else but the real stuff,
Real stuff, meaning?
When I say real stuff, I mean I didn't know anything else but direct contact with Jesus.
And you did it through your feeling. And
I did through that.
Feeling.
Because I didn't know no better.
Yes. Well, that's fine.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, I'm saying this to you guys because I want to appeal to that humility in you, all of you, the humble self of you that are really want the genuine, You don't want no bad moonshine when you go to a liquor house. You want something that's really good. And I stood around as a little boy and grew up around these guys that when they come in the house and it was good, everybody was singing the same song. Man, this they called my Uncle Buck. Said, Buck, this is good liquor. so, so, and after I got old enough, I began to taste that good liquor, and it is the difference in the way they make some of it. It was mild in some, and some of it was bitter. Some of it had a boot to it, and some of it just didn't do nothing. You had to drink it all night long to get it. But this, I'm saying as a metaphor to you guys out there, that I found Jesus, I found the Christ. When I found him, I wanted to know how much was he really involved. Are we involved with him other than just going to the cross and being raised from the dead? My God, I feel that bubbling already. Brother Joe, you know what I'm talking about, and all the rest of you. And I found out that you didn't have to have a whole lot of shouting and jumping up and down from the traditions of the saints in the music area. The music is fine. I love it. I still go for it, but I found out you can have it with or without that, but I like the music. But here we go. We're here tonight. We're talking this crazy stuff again, but it's the right kind of stuff. Give you a metaphor. My wife was in there and had a little bowl of rice on the counter, and the idea come to me, he said, just get you a couple of spoonful of that rice and put it in a bowl. And when you do, put a little cinnamon on top of it, and put your little short cut of butter in it, and put it in the microwave. Let that rice get real hot and melt that cinnamon. You sprinkle over that honey, sugar pie, honey bunch. I got into that thing. I like to stood on my head.
Don't forget you added pork and beans.
Pork and beans, yeah. I like to stood on my head and pass gas straight up in the air.
He acted like it was a gourmet meal.
Ooh, Killer Rock record train and Daryl Peace and I catch rheumatism.
Well, why'd you bring that
up? I'm saying that to you, but hold your horses, hold your underwear and all that. When I had it, it was like a T-bone. What that expensive steak we talk about?
Tomahawk.
It was better than a tomahawk. It was tomahawk rice.
Oh my God.
And butter. And so, I'm itching for it right now. But my point is, that is what we're talking about with the Christ Jesus spirit thing. Now we begin to find out another thing about spirit. We always said, my body is going to go to the grave and I'm going to leave it behind. And we talked about that. But when I looked into the mystical side of the anatomy of the spirit creating, all things were made for him, by him, everything. Mm-hmm. Oh, did I have an experience of seeing the physical body? I saw the physical body in the heavenlies, and it stood there with us like our mothers and fathers. And the evolution of it was given to the body that when we came to earth, it would meet us here. Now, that's the mystery side of it. And we've always denounced the body as being not up to the quality of the spirit. Let me tell you something. When I look at this thing and you go through the medical, physical, and I just study the parts of the Bible, the body that work.
It's a magnificent.
It is absolutely. It is just as much God as you are a spirit.
So before you jump there, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You were mentioning that in our pastoral ministry, we focused more on preparing people for ministry and their innate abilities, reaching their potential. And it took me years. I noticed that a lot of churches some churches are beginning to speak on this, but it took us years to come to the place to realize that everything we needed to master this life was already inside of us. And that's the
bombshell right there.
Yeah, without an outside intervention. When I say an outside intervention, I'm not saying you don't need help at times. There are times you do. But I'm saying without looking to an outside God to intervene or
Mhm.
interfere.
Mhm.
The downloaded goods, I'll
Mhm.
say, is here inside of us, and we're just beginning to tap into it and understand that we have been built, I'll say, from the ground up,
Mhm.
from the
Mhm.
ground up, with everything that we need to go into this life and to live in this body.
I'm reminded of what the book said: seek to the excelling of the
Yes,
the
yes,
church. Seek to excel.
yeah.
And in that, here's my Sawyer's
Do you
translation.
want me to find that scripture for you or something?
No, you can if you want, but it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Seek to excel to the edifying of the body. I mean, seek to excel to the expansion of the wealth of the economy of the whole thing. Now, here we go.
Okay.
I found out that there's a hook. There's a hook in music. It's called a turnaround. You go so many chords and so many steps, and then you come back and you're gonna get the bridge, and then you're gonna start back over. It's a hook in there. Seek to excel to the finding out of what hook are you made out of that would bring about a quality of success and an openness of vision to the potential where you would actually here come you would actually see that your eyes, your physical eyes, is the same color of Christ Jesus. Everybody in the universe, in this earth world, eyes are just like, I don't care if they're blue, green, purple, black eye, whatever it is. These eyes are the eyes of God. The body knew that when it got here, it had a time limit in the inner workings of this magnificent story. It knew in heaven, in the eons. You said, well, it didn't come till we. No, 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 no. It was there all the time. That's a song. Okay. This physical anatomy is absolutely brilliant. Look at the functions of it. Take a look at it. Look at it in the mirror. Look at the fingers moving. Look at the blood that's going through it. Look at we are the life of it, but yet it is, we agreed with it.
Well, I heard
even in the pain and suffering.
Yes, I heard one spiritual teacher say this, that everything is consciousness.
Yes.
Even this body is contracted consciousness.
Yes.
Everything is awareness, but it's just this is more contracted, or I should say localized. And we are now understanding, when I say we, I mean us, the two of us, we're now understanding that there is a turning point from simply trying to walk in this life as spirit or even as awareness and consciousness. We now understand that that must become materialized.
Yes.
It has to become materialized.
Yes.
I cannot help other people if I am not human.
That's right.
I have to be wholly human in order to identify with
say
them.
holy, WHOLY.
WHOLLY. Yes.
LLY. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wholly human.
Entire.
In order to relate and understand and feel the compassion that I need to have in order to help.
And that was examples of it in the books, and I've heard it many times where translation of people that disappeared right in front of others physically as well as spirit. Spirit is already consciousness as invisible, you might say, but as body, they disappeared. Now here's a statement. The more coherent you or we are, the more we will see the physical manifestations of the ability, potentials, these abilities, and it will become a natural, it is already, these abilities are natural things. For instance, our tongue is yapping and flapping right now. Our eyes are looking and seeing. I said it like this to one of the doctors yesterday. I said, we see with our ears and hear with our eyes.
I learned something yesterday. Baby had to go to physical therapy for. They were going to do some things for his for vertigo. He's been experiencing vertigo, and he's had it off and on over the years. But I learned something yesterday that I had not heard about. That the vertigo has so many different phases to it.
Okay.
And a person could have it and have symptoms of it and not know that they are having symptoms of vertigo.
That's right.
Because we associate simply the dizziness and the turning of the room
and we
as
learn
vertigo.
how to live with it.
And that is what vertigo does. But it has so many other facets, such as it can cause you to not have good balance.
Yeah.
And even when you're not spinning, it can cause you to not have good balance. It can cause you to not be able to focus your eyes.
Yeah.
It can cause you to have nausea symptoms.
Okay.
It can cause you to have fuzziness of the mind. And I didn't understand any of that until yesterday. And so I'm beginning to see now that when we confess or say, I am not the body, we in a way we take ourselves away from it. And I understand that we do that because it removes us from the suffering. It removes us from body identification. However, it doesn't fix the problem.
That's right.
It doesn't fix the problem. And I'm beginning to understand that we are in these physical bodies to fix the problem.
Okay, I like that.
We are here to fix the problem.
We are fix what seemed to be not in alignment with.
Yes, the we that is not the body, not the mind, is here to fix the body and the mind.
Where did we get this thing from? Going to the moon and the space, that potential is not of God, that ability for one to be brilliant and is not of God until we have some kind of explosion of a feeling called the baptism of the Holy Spirit. I stopped that
until we have some psychic or spiritual phenomena or spiritual experience to label as God.
I was you call raised like cabbage and corn in the garden. I was raised in a house where people could not read and write, and I had to if they signed their name, made an X on the paper, and they couldn't hardly do that.
And they could not assist you in learning how. Yes.
Now, I saw this lady that she could go anywhere in any extravagant home and cook a meal that square up their underwear. I mean, it just knocked them down and stand them back up again. And she never could read, but yet she knew how to pinch, make. I sat there in the kitchen
she didn't have to read a recipe.
No, she was the recipe.
She intuitively knew the recipe. So that's what I mean when I said we have to learn our own strengths and the capacity we have to go beyond our limitations.
Yeah.
So we that's here as essence, as God essence, not as so much God Almighty, but the actual attributes of God and mind of God and all mind of Christ. We're here to fix these material bodies and this material world. We are here for that.
The body is here as watch this. Here it is. Our bodies is the same type of body that the sages and Christ himself walked in. We are the inward workings of this physical world as eternal spirit. Now watch it. Mechanics, electricians, all the skills that we have in the earth to use this is supernatural, but it's so natural that we don't put a super on it. Okay. As spirit, it said, Jesus, spirit became flesh and dwelt among us. Do you think that everybody said, well, he's God? Wait a minute, let's stop that. Spirit became flesh. What do you think? Where do you think this body came from? The same steps that they say Jesus took, we took the It said, and if the same spirit dwell in you that raised him, us, Galatians 2:20, from the dead, it shall also quicken. And quicken was coming from the metaphor of when you cut your fingernail to get to the quick.
Yeah, like last time baby girl had gotten groomed, the groomer trimmed her nails.
She cut her quick, didn't she?
And she cut the quick. And the quick is that area that's sensitive. And it has life in it.
Yeah. And when you hit it, you'll jump. Now, some dogs will bite you.
Well, sure. But that's what the quickening is. When he said quicken, that's what it meant.
That's the definition of Quaker oats. Quaker oats. Quicker. Yeah. Quick, crack, quick. Okay. Now that you know about the quick, that means that if you are the same senses that Christ Jesus was, the same operation that worked in him is now 24/7 working in you. Now we come into why the Old Testament and the old saints put a whole lot of emphasis on the physical world. That's because they was manifesting in a big bunch of paper, spirit becoming flesh.
Yeah. Now what we just said is in Romans.
It's in the
We've
book.
read it. We've read it for years. Romans 8, where it talks about, said, if Christ be in you, it says the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. All that saying,
it reversed.
All that saying is this body is animated by spirit. That's all that saying.
It reversed it.
And then he says this. Shucks, where did I stop? If the spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he that raised up Christ Jesus from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwells in you. So there is this goal that must be reached, where that is inside these bodies, that's animating these bodies, now has the access or the potential and actually can touch these mortal bodies and correct things that are wrong in it.
That's right.
And correct things around you. Now this is, I don't want to take you back to where we used to live, where we were constantly looking for God to heal, constantly looking for God to deliver. But I want to take you to the place where you realize that what you need to have the freedom and the healing is here inside of you. And it's not far off. The healing power is inside of us.
Look at the go ahead.
We have the awesome task of learning how to access and navigate this power that we are.
I want to tell you the truth and lie not. I heard a guy said he lied so much that the dog go outdoors.
They had to give him a pork chop to make him come.
No, he called the dog. The dog wouldn't come because he said, I don't believe what he's saying. He tell a lie. He lie like a carpet. He done lied to me. I don't know how many times. If I came to it, he didn't give me a bone. He didn't give me a treat. He's a lying master. Look, listen. This body is not telling a lie on spirit.
Right.
It's telling the truth. The more coherent we come, be more coherent. I put that word there.
Yeah.
COHERENT. Coherent.
I want to say the more alert we become in these bodies. And there's I can't go back and say details about it, but there's in the book that Eckhart Tolle wrote called The New Earth, there is a whole chapter on being the inner body and connecting with that inner body, that part of you that is divine but is also material.
The body, us, is the here and the now knowing spirit made physical flesh. This body, you that's here with your ears, is now spirit made flesh.
Yes,
okay.
It is.
We all have the same backup, the same potential, and we are able to see spirit moving even when we raise our hand. Spirit is moving when we blink our eyes. Spirit is moving.
Exactly. And that's what I mean like for instance, I go back to you again when you had to go to physical therapy for the vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
I saw now this was awesome, and I didn't say anything to you about it.
Okay, go ahead.
But this physical therapist, he was actually the one who owned the whole clinic.
Yeah.
We didn't know that at the
I don't know
time.
what I said to him. Go ahead.
No, it ain't about what you
Yeah.
said to him. But when he was working with you, he told you to get up on the table.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going you to turn your head a certain way,
Yeah.
and he's going to then lay down.
Yeah.
I saw spirit
Yeah.
lay you down.
Ooh, look at that girl.
But it was in a man's form.
That's right.
It was in a man's form.
Yeah, that's right.
Laid you down gently.
Yes, he did.
Spirit laid you down.
Yes.
In a man's form.
And then spirit was sitting there and you looking at it.
Yes.
As you, the physical.
And spirit laid down.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of physical Christ in
everything was, I won't say everything is spirit, was spirit, but everything was divine.
Thank you.
The whole thing was divine. That's a good way to say it.
If we
not only that,
go ahead.
You know, we when we talk about being master over these bodies and healing these bodies, and the question automatically arises, then why do we still have sickness? Why do we still have pain? Why do we still have this? But I know that when we went, I watched spirit orchestrate everything around your challenges, your health challenges.
Yeah. And it was helping me get through the impasses.
You actually ministered to this man?
Yep. Yeah, I did.
I mean, went all the way down into his childhood and found that this man has gone the same journey with the weightlifting, the people, the mentors that you
his
had.
life and this life, we were
even
parallel.
With me.
Yeah.
Because when I managed the physical therapy clinic, he knew those physical therapy.
He was 60.
He knew those owners and those clinics.
Yeah.
We connected, and it was like, okay, so that's why we're here.
And we're 10 years ahead of him or more.
That's why we're here in this place.
Yeah.
And the vertigo was used to get you there.
I saw the most amazing miracle of two beings in the body was around close to each other and did not touch each other until yesterday.
And when your eyes come open to this, you see it everywhere.
Oh, did we have a time?
You see it everywhere.
He asked me, did I know a certain man that we were real close with and still is, the Creamities? I say, yeah.
So everything is purposeful. Being in these bodies, you should remain in these bodies, because in these bodies is where you find your mastership. You will not find your mastership outside this body. Your mastership is in this body, and facing the limitations, pulling up and accessing from deep within the recesses of your being the wherewithal to deal with the issues that you face.
The same body, being flesh, is the same body now that when Jesus was on earth, we were inside of that one as eternal essence. And yes, we were in and outside of his body and everybody that was around him, and from rooter to tutor.
Another thing I've learned is this, that everything that I have had to go through, while it may be something that I would consider negative, has been there for the purpose of my understanding being enlightened. And so everything that's coming my way, I must embrace it and surrender to the fact that it is here. And then this is the other thing I had to find out, is that if there was a need for God to intervene, he would do that. But if it doesn't intervene, it means I am supposed to learn to be self-reliant and self-sufficient in that area. And I call this being sober.
Yes.
We've been intoxicated too long.
Yes.
On spiritual concepts. It's time to be sober.
Yep.
And I do believe that what's coming into our country and our this season that's happening, You look at the banks
Yeah.
closing up and,
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. There are things that are facing us that is going to make us be sober. And so I thank God for bringing us to this point of being very grounded.
Because the physical body has a duration of what we call time, distance, age.
Mm-hmm.
It agreed to that compost being molded into what it is supernaturally or made to be here just to serve us. And we coherently go into waking up to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole spirit, soul, and body completely
Mm-hmm.
entire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The same spirit that was in Jesus is the same one that we are.
Yes. Yes.
Boy, I'm telling you that. When you think about this and get outside of the laws of the ego mind that wants to cut you off at the path and
Yeah.
tell you that
Yeah.
you're missing
Yeah.
God, you're in the wrong spirit, and all that kind of stuff. I stay away from it. Even when I see it on television, I turn the station.
Yeah.
If some people say, I don't even look at the thing. Well, I look at it. I look at a whole lot of things. Like I tell people all the time, they said, I don't believe it's paganism, this Santa Claus thing and all this stuff about Christmas. Bring me your Christmas tree and all the gifts and nuts and fruits and candy. I'll take
I
it.
don't think Santa Claus kept anybody out of heaven.
No.
I don't. I don't think anybody got. I don't think anybody got demon possessed with believing in Santa Claus.
Well, you said when you were a little girl that if they didn't believe in Santa Claus, they going to hell. That's what you said.
I mean, there are reasons for people to feel where they do that, and they have they can do that. That's their option if they want to feel like that.
That's okay.
I wanted to say this as well.
Okay.
When we have life lessons that come to us, and I wrote this in my notes, it said each time you try to avoid an opportunity or a challenge, the consequences become more severe.
That's right.
So and that's to drive you to the place of mastership. So the lessons must be learned. They will be learned. It's not a must be. It's not something you have to think about, but you will learn. If you resist the lessons, the life lessons that come to you, and don't take advantage of the opportunity for those challenges to be overcome, then you will be driven. I heard Oprah say this, said guidance comes as whispers. And you often said this when you used to teach about it a lot. You took a glass and you would blow your breath on it, and you could see the breath, and then it would dissipate.
That's the breath of God and the voice.
That's the way intuition comes.
That's
the way guidance comes as a whisper. But I heard Oprah say this: if you don't acknowledge the whisper and pay attention to it, she said, pretty soon it'll come a brick, and then the brick will hit you in the head, and you'll have to listen. So yes, your lessons and your opportunity to overcome your challenges, they come, and you have intuition to deal with that. You have on board what you need to deal with that. You have to face those things and not run from them. You cannot run from the things that cause you pain.
Now, I've been considering taking a few chances with what I've been dealing with and visit some brick and mortars churches, maybe one or two.
Take the opportunity, because you now are free to do it. You're free.
And I don't know how I would deal with it because I hadn't been around anything.
You won't
like
know
that.
Until you do it.
And I had some places in mind, and Pastor Norman has heard me talk about it, and some of the others. I miss seeing you Christ, Jesus bodies.
Now, I don't know if I should call you Nicole, but I'm going to call you Nicole.
Okay.
She said avoidance brings suffering. It does, because we think that we can escape this escapism that we have been plagued with. And not all of it is bad, but it's just that this escapism has caused us to turn our face from that we're supposed to look squarely at and deal with. But at the same time, there are times when you have to escape because it's so much you can't deal with.
That's right.
So I understand both sides.
Now that we've got this thing out in the open, let me read something to you. You've heard me say it in the book, Matthew's 20, 25, 26 to 35th verse. I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat.
Mm-hmm.
I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink.
Mm-hmm.
I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous, that's these folks, these folks that just can't handle the physical side of Christ, of God, answer him saying, Lord, when were we there? When were they hungered and fed thee, and thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we
when
thee?
When were you like that?
Yeah,
when
yeah,
were you hungry?
We look at everybody else.
When were you thirsty?
Yeah.
They knew he wasn't talking about himself because he had never been there.
Now, what do you say he's under the law or after Pentecost? Well, it don't make no difference. He's telling these folks, these guys all around him, that this physical life is God's kind, is the God life.
It is God's life, yes.
And
so there's no separation between my life and this spiritual life.
Oh, you got to get saved first.
Well, yeah, but
you got to get God in you.
Yeah. Well,
go play in traffic, please.
But not only from a Christian standpoint of getting God in you and getting saved, all of this, even the seeker that goes after enlightenment, it's the same thing.
Yeah. As spirit now, please understand, you can't go to a graduation and walk across the stage with bib overalls on. You can, but you're going to be way out of place. You have to dress according to the environment. So when we came here, and many lifetimes, we had to wear the proper suit. You don't go down up on the water with a little bitty fan trying to fan air up in your nose. You got to have the right equipment on. So we had to put the right equipment on to get into this world. And he said this: when saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren and sisterins, and everybody else, ye have done it unto me. Now,
notice he didn't just say one of these; he said the least of these.
Yeah.
So that's the homeless man.
Look out!
The person is on the street corner. That's the drunk. That's the addict.
I rest my case. I was, like I told you, I was on the way to Greensboro, and I stopped at this stoplight, and the light turned green, and up popped this homeless man talking to himself.
That you've been talking about for months now.
Yeah. He come across in front of my Jeep, and I had to slam on brakes. Me and another truck. And I sat there and I looked at God saving his self life as this man. I didn't condescend him. I looked at him.
Yeah.
That was Jesus walking across against traffic. But we blessed him. If we had hit him, it probably would have tore our truck all to pieces. He's tough. Yeah. I tell my wife all the time, she's in the parking lot, we coming out of a store, and the car be coming up, stopping. I said, baby, you need to hurry up and get across here. I said, if that car hit you, it'll tear it all to pieces. Now,
let us know if you are with us tonight. I know Nicole has given us a good comment. None of the rest of you are saying anything. I guess you're just listening. Hopefully it's resonating with you. This is where we are right now. So this is what we're going to be talking about until we see something totally different. This is where we are.
And you know it because we just go into something else. But I thank you guys for being the Christ that is in the physical body that can assist us with all the physical apparatuses
now, before you say that, I wanted to say this, that we are here, we as spirit are in these bodies to master the limitations of these bodies and this world.
Yeah.
And as we do that, we're then called to teach others how to do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right.
That's where ministries are born.
Mhm.
That's where you serve this world. When you master something, you can help someone else get to that same place
That's right.
of mastership.
Okay. Now we're rolling along,
We are rolling along.
singing a song, the bobbing along.
Mhm.
Thank you so much again for being the breath of God, the life of God, the blessings of God,
And
the
as
miracles of
you
God,
say,
and the footsteps
and all
of
the
God.
nuts and fruits and candy.
Yes, thank you for being the gift of God that comes in so many different manifestations, manifested form right in front of our face and eyes, using the ears and the eyes to move other Jesus Christ bodies.
Yes, hit the like button if you can right now. I want you to do that, and because if you don't do that, then nobody's going to ever find us.
You got to give us indication that you're there.
Yes, nobody will ever find us when they're looking for something like this. They won't be able to find us because as the algorithm pushes you up, if they don't know that you're getting followers or if you're being watched, they won't put you out there where you can be found. So that's the main reason why I ask you to do that, to please hit like and subscribe. We got 3 new subscribers last week. That was a good thing.
We don't play. We don't play.
We're just chugging along.
I tell somebody we flunked recess in school because we didn't play.
Jill said she's joined late because daylight saving time messed it up.
It
It messed us up too, Jill. Don't feel bad, sweetheart.
It got me so bad. I thought yesterday was Saturday.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I don't know how. And look, and Jill, this morning I slept till 12 o'clock.
Sure did.
Today I did.
Didn't miss what you did.
Baby girl slept with me on the
Yes, she did.
But when I got up, she was glad to get up.
Yes, Lord.
She was glad to get up.
She can hear that.
Daylight saving time takes a little bit of getting used to. So I think I finally caught up my sleep.
If you happen to be doing something and you think about us, or we think about you, that's God thinking about himself. I thank you so much for being that type of.
And for those of you who know about Mama Chris she had an incident last week, health challenge, and she had to go to the hospital, and she stayed a few days. They got her fluids and everything in her, and she's back home doing well. I talked to her today. And
Snipes, we forgot about her.
Yes, and be in prayer for Kim Snipes, who's having some health challenges as well. I'm not going to mention what because I'm not sure she wants everyone to know what it is, but be in prayer for her if you would. And I think Brother Charles is also having some issues.
Yes.
So please be in prayer for them. And we will be back again on Thursday at 12:30. Yes.
Live and in
color for impromptu.
Yeah.
And hopefully Pastor Norman will be free to be on there with us like he always is as a co-host. And we always have some great conversations there. And so we look forward to seeing you there. But if not, we will definitely be back on Sunday at 10. Okay?
Well, I appreciate you. We do.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Those guys said $2,000 and a bang.
Oh, you're talking about Wendell.
Yeah, Wendell. He was tough, wasn't he?
Wendell was mentally challenged. And he was a grown man, but he would walk the streets. His mother kept him very well dressed.
Yeah, and he was everybody's friend.
Would go, if he would say, Wendell, do you love me? He said, I love you, and a D-daddy-do.
And a $2,000 and a bang.
bang.
Hey, y'all keep your nose clean, your britches on. Don't take no wooden nickels.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.